Good morning. Friday again. Time for a weekend. Yay. We're going to go to Amish country. Not until Sunday, so we're taking kind of first of the week. Maybe the crowds won't be so bad, but I'm just looking forward to getting away. So there will not be a yoga class Monday morning. So I'll be having fun, hopefully sleeping in a little bit. Today we're going to incorporate some postures into our practice that will help with keeping your lungs healthy. With all that's been going on in our world, with some illness that seems to wreak havoc in the lungs. That's nothing new though. I mean, pneumonia is around, the flu sometimes can be an upper respiratory. It's just good to understand the lungs and how to keep the lungs healthy and how to help the lungs out when they're not so healthy. Yoga can do a lot in taking us to healthier lungs and helping to alleviate some of the symptoms and move us along towards good health if we're unfortunate enough to be ill. So we're going to start on our bellies, crocodile. And I don't know if you can see it. I've got a couple extra props in the by my yoga mat today. You don't need them. I just want to demonstrate some things that you can do with some pillows or some bolsters. So meet me in crocodile on your belly. We also call this prone position. That's the medical, technical, anatomical term. So if you're on your back, it's called supine. But if you're on your belly, it's called prone. And this is crocodile in yoga. So stack the hands, rest your forehead on the back of your hands and separate your legs so you can be real relaxed. I'm going to stay up on my elbows only because if I come down, my voice gets really distorted on my mic. So come to the breath in this shape. Feel the breath. Draw the breath clear down into the hips, into the low back, allowing the diaphragm to contract and push down into the contents of the abdomen. And by breathing diaphragmatically, you're drawing breath into the bases of the lungs, the bottoms of the lungs. Practicing diaphragmatic breath before we're sick is important. It's a tool that can help us if we have upper respiratory issues. As we're not feeling well, our mobility can take a hit and we just kind of lay around on the couch, and sometimes we need that, but we need to breathe deeply. When we're not active and not feeling well, we may not breathe deeply, and if we have an upper respiratory infection, that just leads to a path of more problems. We're not aerating the entire lung. Stagnation breeds disease. And before we move on, I want to talk a little bit about this shape in regards to upper respiratory issues, pneumonia. In a prone position, it's very helpful to aerate the alveolar sacs. So those are the little tiny sacs at the very end of the respiratory pathway. There are more of those in the backs of our lungs. So without dwelling too long on this, because I love to talk about this. Just know that by laying this way, you've taken away that pressure on your back and allowing those alveolar sacs in the backs of the lungs the freedom to expand and stay open. We'll take about 5 more breaths here. Just think about that as you're breathing. All those little sacs like grapes, clusters of grapes. And then let's come to table, hands and knees. Start moving around a little. Let's do some circles through the hips and the shoulders. Changing position is important as well, as we're not feeling well, especially with an upper respiratory situation. Go the other direction. So postural drainage, I worked in respiratory therapy for years, and we would do postural drainage, which meant we would just help the patient move around in bed, turning on their side, laying on their belly, laying on their back, even an inversion, like our downward facing dog. We're just draining the lungs, moving the fluid, moving the blood flow. So changing postures is important, and we do a lot of that in yoga. Let's lift the left knee, and we'll do some circling through just one hip at a time. See how much mobility you can find in that hip, and go the other direction. And then second side, some circles. And tuck your toes and lift into down dog. So an inversion. So if you're not feeling well, down dog might be a little excessive. But maybe not. Maybe you can just drop your knees and come to Anahata Asana. In fact, let's do that now. So dropping the knees, walk the hands out long. This is a milder inversion. And breathing down into the lungs, expanding into the belly. We're also stretching those muscles in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles. Now let's come back to down dog. Intercostal muscles are secondary muscles of respiration. The diaphragm is the primary. Now step forward, and we're going to come to a seated position. Sukhasana is fine, or any other seated pose. So ribs, intercostal muscles. There's two layers, and they kind of crisscross. And they're responsible for the lift and expansion of the lungs as we breathe. We need to keep them all stretched out. Yoga helps with that. Inhale up. Exhale, bring the right arm down, left arm over. Nice side bend. Push that left hip down into the mat as you reach up and over with the left arm. Now breathe. Big inhale into the rib spaces. 2 more. Last one. And then up and over second side. So think about those intercostal muscles and the diaphragm, the muscles in the neck, all the secondary muscles of respiration. They work all day, every day, no breaks. 2 more breaths. And then come back up to neutral. So now let's flex and extend the spine. So that will include the rib cage. We're going to round the back, come into our cat. Breathe up and down the spine. Now pull through into a back bend. Breathe into the front chest. And even extend the chin, the lower teeth, beyond the upper teeth, stretching through the neck. And then come back to neutral. So believe it or not, there are muscles in the neck, the scalenes, that help lift the chest, lift the shoulders as we take an inhale. So sniff. Put your hands to your neck and sniff. You'll feel those muscles. So it's important to stretch those as well. Let's turn the head to the right, turn the head to the left. One more time each side, right and left. Now let's drop the chin forward, extend that neck, flex the neck. And then look up. Now we'll extend the neck. We're back into the muscles in the front of the throat. Back to neutral, drop left ear to left shoulder and push that right shoulder down. You can reach up and over with the left hand, a little help for the neck. No tugging though, just a little weight on the head to help the stretch. Second side. Right ear to right shoulder, push the left shoulder down. And then one more thing, drop the chin and then swing the chin to the left and look up. And then swing the chin across the chest, look to the right and look up. Look out to the side, I guess. I don't know, you probably could look up. Just whatever feels like a nice stretch. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. And then swing your arms up. Take your hands behind you. Shoulders up, back, down. Pull the elbows towards each other. Push the knuckles down. Pull the fists away from the low back. And just pause here in an upright spine. Breathe into the upper front chest, into the pectoralis muscles. Remember, these get short with all of the movement that we perhaps do during our day. Everything's in front of us and we're using our arms. So the muscles in the front upper chest get shortened. We need to stretch them out so they're free to open and expand with the breath. 2 more breaths. And then release the arms. Just take the hands to the lap. Pause and notice the breath. Allowing for the expansion of the belly on the inhale. And drawing the breath clear to the bottoms of the lungs. In the bottom of the lungs, that's where most of the blood vessels lie. So let's utilize them. Alrighty, roll over your knees. Meet me back in downward facing dog. And from down dog, lift your right leg back and up. Just keep that leg extended up there as much as you can. Bend into your left knee and then swing the right leg back and up a little higher. Then extend and straighten that left leg. Look between your hands, step it forward. The right foot's up here in front of the hip. Let's drop the heel in. You may want to step it forward a little too. We're going to rise up in warrior 1. Hands to heart. Pause here and notice. Lift your prayer. Come into a back bend and then come into goddess arms, opening through the chest. Now arms overhead again, hands to heart. Swing your arms up. Exhale, bring the hands behind you. Open through the chest, just like we did. Push the knuckles down, pull the knuckles away, fold forward. Now you can bring your chest to your thigh, or you can slide a little towards the inside of the thigh and come lower. So this is another inversion. And think about this in relationship to the lungs. We're using gravity to help shift fluids. Just help pump things around in there and keep you healthy. Now come back up. Hands to hips, step it forward. Inhale, swing your arms out and up. And exhale, fold. Lifting halfway, lengthen. Exhale, step back in plank. Drop your knees. And then calming to the belly. Let's do 5 rolling baby cobra. Inhale, lift and rise. And exhale down. 4 more. Inhale. Last 3, if you feel like coming up a bit higher, feel free. You can feel that expansion and the release in the back muscles and the belly muscles. Deepen this back bend if that feels okay now. 1 more. Tuck the toes, down dog. Left leg back and up. Bend the right knee and then really reach the left leg up. Now work to straighten the right leg. Breathe. Another inversion. Think about the lungs in our inversion. Now bring that foot forward between the hands. Getting ready for warrior one with that back foot. Rise up. Now we've switched orientation to gravity. Think about that in terms of the lungs. Lift the prayer. Back bend, open into goddess. Flood the lungs with breath, with life force energy. Arms overhead and then hands to heart. Swing your arms up on an inhale. Back behind you on an exhale. Open through the front chest. Push the knuckles down. Lift them away as you fold forward. Maybe you land with the low belly and the ribs on the thigh, or maybe you slide along the inside of the thigh, letting your head hang. Another inversion. Breathe. Now frame your foot with your hands. We're going to step back into plank again. Drop the knees and come to the belly. Back to prone. Bring your arms overhead like Superman and bring your forehead down. This is full prostration, so it's just another way of describing this shape. I'm going to turn my head to the side, but you can bring your forehead down. Again, we're allowing the backs of the lungs, the freedom to open and expand. Now roll on to your right side. So this is an example of another position for postural drainage. We just change shapes. So for our practice today, we're going to stay nice and long and take advantage of this shape for balance. But if you weren't feeling well, you could just be lying like this in bed. You could put some pillows. I've got some bolsters up there, but a pillow underneath your arm. Curl your legs up. Maybe put a pillow between your knees. We call that sideline child's pose, but we've changed our orientation to gravity. Reach up and overhead. See how thin you can make yourself in this shape. Now bend the left knee and reach back for your left ankle. Open through the front chest. Push the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot. Fallen dancer. Nice stretch in the quads, the front of the thigh on the left. And slide the left foot along the inside of the right leg, coming into fallen tree. And then play with balance. Make it harder and harder to balance here. Breathe. Lift your head, cradle your head in your right hand. Reach down for your left big toe with your peace sign fingers and straighten the leg or wherever you need to stop along that path. Working into a stretch of the hamstrings. I think this is called Krishna's couch. So a TV watching position minus the leg, I guess. Haven't seen too many people extend. Well, I do. When I'm lying out like this, I will just to get a good stretch. But I'm weird that way. All right, roll over. Full prostration. Pause and notice. And then roll to the left. Nice and thin. I think of the edge of a razor when I'm in this shape. And closing the eyes if you can. And feel all the little tiny movements that happen to keep you balanced, even in this position. Now coming into Fallen Dancer, reach back for your ankle, open through the right chest. Draw that shoulder blade back towards the spine. Push the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot, and then push your knee away from you. Push it down towards the bottom of your mat. Get a nice stretch in the front of your thigh. Fallen tree. And lift the head, cradle it in your left hand, Krishna's couch. Grab your big toe. You could take the back of your leg, back of your calf, wherever is comfortable. Working to stretch the hamstrings and the inner thigh. And then roll over onto the belly. Let's take a few back bends here. So we'll come back to our Cobra. Let's come up higher this time. Inhale, lift. Little bend in the arms. Exhale, down. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, down. 1 more. Exhale, down. Tuck the toes, down dog. Swing your right leg back and up. Step forward. Externally rotate the back foot. Warrior 2. Reach in both directions. We'll take peaceful warrior now. So half bind or let that left arm slide down the leg. Really stretch through the right ribs. Breathe. Back to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Reach. Coming into triangle. Let that right arm float down to the shin. A block would be good. I always like to take the left arm and pull the bowstring, opening up the heart to the left. Reach. Swing your left arm up by your ear. And maybe you lift your right arm like you're holding a beach ball. Now lift the torso, bend the knee, cartwheel the arms back to warrior 2. Cartwheel the arms around. Come to plank. Find your way to your belly, or if you're like me, you can just bend the elbows, a little chaturanga, flip the tops of the feet, and then heart comes forward and up into up dog. Tuck the toes, down dog. Lift the left leg back and up. Step it forward. Coming up in warrior 2. Reach in both directions. Shoulders heavy. Crown of the head light. Peaceful. Taking your half bind, or you can slide that hand down the leg. Breathe into the left ribs this time. Notice how the breath can stretch and massage those muscles. Lungs are not muscles. They're organs. And they rely on these muscles to breathe the breath, bring the breath in and send the breath out. Now back to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. We're going to reach. So we stay long in the side body. And then drop that hand. Wherever it lands is fine. Take the right hand down. Pull the bowstring, opening through the chest. Breathe. Now you can swing the right arm up by the ear, pressing into the little toe edge of the right foot, and then reaching from that place through the right fingertips. Maybe you lift your left arm, holding a beach ball. And then cartwheeling back into warrior 2. Frame the foot. Let's step back in down dog. Another inversion. Let's hold. And breathe.
Bend your knees a lot. Let's hop to the top of the mat. So big hop. You can finish it out with a couple little steps. Bend your knees, lay your belly and your ribs on your thighs. Let your head hang. Breathe. So notice we freed up that back body in this inversion. All those little tiny alveolar sacs are free to open and close. Now pull your feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Swing the arms up. Take left wrist with right hand. Pull, stretch through the intercostal space. Fold to the right. Breathe into those ribs. Second side. Right wrist, left hand. Pull and fold. And then inhale all the way up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Lifting halfway. On an exhale, step back with the right foot. We're going to come into a lunge, so stay on the ball of the foot. I got to adjust my feet because my mats are slipping. Feet are hip distance apart. I want you to keep your right hand on the mat. So we're staying in a folded lunge. Take the left hand to the left knee. And we'll come into a twist here. Reach. And unfold. And then rise up, lift the chest, coming up into a high lunge. Hands to heart. Lift the prayer. Take a back bend. High crescent lunge. It's a little more of a balance challenge than warrior one. Breathe. Folding forward, frame the foot. Step back in plank. Find your back bend. Maybe you come down. Maybe you do a little push up. Flip the feet. Heart comes forward. Pelvis drops. Up dog to down dog. Bend your knees a lot. Jump it forward. Let's hang again. Bend the knees. Grab opposite elbows this time and we'll sway. Feel that nice stretch in the ribs. Drop the hands. Keep the knees bent. We'll round up one vertebrae at a time. Arms overhead. Let's take a twist, twisting to the right. Really focus on the rib cage as you twist. How much twist can you bring to the rib cage? And face forward and twist to the left. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Step back with the left foot now. Getting ready for our lunge. We're going to come into a folded, twisted lunge. Keep the left hand on the mat now. Wrist under shoulder. Right hand to right knee. Push. And then reach up with the right arm. You can even lean back here a little bit. Breathe. Unwind, frame the foot, and then rise up in your lunge. Hands to heart. Lift your prayer. Add that back bend. I always like goddess here. It opens up the chest, but it also adds a little balance. Breathe. And then fold forward. Let's step back and come to crocodile. So our prone position. Resting the forehead on the back of the hands. Separate the knees, separate the feet, bend the knees. Windshield wiper. Bring the hips along. And then release. Breathe. Visualize the lungs filling, being flooded with that life force energy. Drawing that into the body on the inhale, and then that breath takes away all the stagnation, metabolic waste, and even the energy that's just used up. Let it go. Feel the belly expand and press into the floor as you inhale, because you're allowing the diaphragm to push down into the belly, allowing for a full deep breath. Two more breaths. And meet me in down dog. Swinging your right leg back and up, let's bend the knee and stack the hips. Don't let the shoulders stack. Reach stronger through the right arm. Doing some more hip circles, I'm going to shift forward and bring that knee towards my right elbow, and then back and up, circling. Let's do one more. And back to down dog. Swing the left leg back and up. Bend the knee. Stack the hips. And then push through that left arm. So you square the shoulders with the mat. And do some circles, shifting forward. Big circles. Down dog. Shift forward into plank. Find your back bend. Down dog. Top of the mat, hop, step, whatever you want to do. Lifting halfway on the inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Pull the feet away from each other, swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Walk your feet wider and turn your toes out just a little bit. Bend the knees, take your hands to your knees. Inhale, nice back bend. And exhale, round the spine. Mobility in the rib cage and the thoracic spine. One more each way. And then from here, let's drop into a squat. So if coming all the way down doesn't work for you, you can come to the forearms. But maybe you come into a squat with me. And wiggle around if you need to, like I am, to kind of loosen up the hips. Working to come to the soles of the feet. Now, I've got a blanket out today. If you can't come to the soles of the feet, you can always bring a blanket under the heels in this position. Bring the upper arms to the inside of the knees. Bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra. Think about lengthening the spine as you bring the palms in front of the heart. Resist that with the knees. Breathe up and down the spine. And if you're in a higher squat, just think about lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the crown of the head, lengthening through the tailbone. I'll take a twist here. I'm going to take my left hand way out here. If you're down in a squat with me, and my armpit's coming more towards my knee. Take the right hand to the right knee, push. Maybe you even take that half bind and open the chest. If you're in a higher squat, you can reach out like I am. You can even put a block down there if you need to. I come back to center. Second side, reaching out with the other arm. I hope I said the correct arm first time around. And breathe, maybe taking that half bind to help open that shoulder. And then unwind. Bring the hands to the floor, to the carpet, to your mat. Lean forward a little here. If crow is in your practice, crow's not it's not a shape that I've mastered, but you can lift and balance on the hands. And if you're like me, it's not, but I still like that weight bearing. I like this movement coming forward and back. One more. Building up some bone in my wrists and my hands. And this time I'm going to lift my hips. So coming back up to a forward fold. Toss my blanket off to the side. Pull the feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. So if you have a block or two close by, it's nice for our next shape. I'm going to place those on my left. I'm going to step back with my left foot. Come onto my mat. And then turn into Prasarita. Pinky toe edges of the feet are parallel with the short edges of the mat. The wider you are with this, the less distance you cover with your forward fold. Keep that in mind. We're going to come into an inversion, a supported inversion. First, we're going to swing arms out and up. Exhale the hands behind you. Lace the fingers. And see if you can bring your hands to reverse namaste. So you've got your prayer hands behind you, and maybe you can flip your prayer and keep your chest open. Just an option. Now lift the heart, lift the gaze, coming into a bit of a back bend. And then folding forward. You can release the hands if you have your blocks. You can stack these blocks in any way so you can find support for the head. And if you can, bring the top of the head to the blocks. And breathe. Three more breaths. So we're talking and focusing on lungs today, but these inversions are also very calming to the nervous system. And that pressure you feel in your head is what's triggering the relaxation response. Now lift halfway, wrists under shoulders, long spine. We're going to walk back to the top of the mat, step forward, arrive on an inhale. Lifting halfway up. Exhale, fold. Let's step back. I want to do some seated stuff too. I'm going to move my blocks. And come to Dandasana, staff pose. I'm going to keep my knees bent a little bit. I'm pulling my heels towards me so my pelvis tilts forward. Now I've kind of shifted to the front edge of the sit bones. Reaching way up there with both arms, and then reaching out as I fold at the hips. Breathe into the back. Inhale, come back up, and then maybe straighten the legs a little more. Reach and fold. You can grab feet, ankles, shins, and give yourself a little pull as long as you're not straining the low back. Now breathe up and down the spine. Inhale up, we'll do one more. And then rise up, bend your right knee and bring that foot close. We're going to come up like we want to stand on that right foot. Left leg's active, foot is flexed. Let's take a twist here, wrapping left elbow around the right knee and take the right arm behind you. Keep the thigh close and twist. Push that left shoulder forward as you're pulling your thigh close. Breathe. Feel the belly expand. Facing forward, let's drop that knee out like the page of a book. And keep your foot here or tuck the foot. Square your shoulders with the front edge of the mat. Again, we're going to reach up and forward. And cross your wrists. Wherever your hands are, give yourself a little pull, but a little twist. We're drawing right ribs towards left knee. And inhale, rise up. Bend into the left leg. Hang on to the foot and straighten that leg, any amount. Second side, let's switch legs. Now drawing the left foot in, come up on that foot like you want to stand. Wrap and twist. Push the right shoulder forward as you're drawing your left thigh close. And if you have the space, you can take your arm to the outside of the knee and find a mudra. Jnana mudra is good. Thumb to index finger. Feel the breath in the right ribs. Feel the breath in the belly. Feel the lungs smile because we're taking care of them. Now unwind. We'll open out. Sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh or under. Reach up and fold cross the wrists. Give yourself a little pull. A little twisting, so left ribs towards right knee. And then sitting up, bend your right foot. Take the sole of the foot, and maybe you're just here, or here, or here, or maybe you can work to straighten. So it should feel like a nice deep stretch, not pain. Remember, sukha and stiram, effort and ease. You find a balance between the two. And release. So before we come down for Shavasana, I want to show you something that you can do. I've got some yoga bolsters, but you could do this with pillows in bed. So we call this frog on a log in yoga if you take a restorative class. I've got a round one out and a rectangular one. It'd probably be better if I had two rectangular ones out. And this is yoga props. You don't have to use yoga props for this, but since I have them, and kind of smooth the gap between these. And then you straddle this. Remember, it's frog on a log. And the head comes down. And the arms and the legs. And this is really comfortable. But it's a way to find a prone position. To find your way to the shape you choose for our relaxation today. And maybe later experiment with the pillows from your bed, even rolled up blankets, towels. Yoga bolsters are perfect, but they're not cheap, so. But if you have them, it would be good. Let it all go. Let's visualize the lungs. Happy, healthy lungs. Boosting the health and the function of our lungs. Perhaps alleviating illness, preventing it from catching up with us to begin with, or minimizing the impact, or being very skilled at the tools we need to help our lungs get through an attack, some sort of bug. And begin to deepen your breath and move the body. And find your way back to a seated position. That's one of my favorite restorative yoga poses, that and Sideline child's pose. So you probably sleep like that some. You're curled up on your side, pillow under your head. You can hang on to a pillow between the knees. So just practice some good mindful breathing this weekend. And remember, if you get sick with an upper respiratory infection or sick, period, and you're immobile or less than your usual mobility, it's important to maintain focus on breathing. Stagnation breeds disease. When we have surgery, if you've had surgery, you know that the respiratory therapist comes in with this little machine and makes you take several deep breaths periodically. Do that, especially when you're sick. If you're watching television, every commercial, take 10 diaphragmatic breaths. Keep the lungs aerated. And use our yoga postures to help maintain the health. Let's reach up one more time. Exhale, hands home to heart. Have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. I may change the title to something to do with lung health. I put Crocodile because that's where we started out, but this was very focused on the health of lungs, so I might change the title. Have a good weekend. I will. Bye-bye.